Okay, I have 6 o'clock. I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us. Welcome to the June edition of the Second Century Alliance's Community Update. Can everybody hear me? Just give me a wave. Awesome, awesome. Gotta love the technology when it works, right? I'm Sonia Hunsinger. I'm the Economic Development Administrator, and as most of you already know, we host these events to keep you all informed of the relevant projects and programs that are happening in the city. So thanks for logging on tonight. Our goal is to make sure as many people as possible hear this information, so please don't hesitate to share it and help us spread the word about what's happening in the city. We are live on Facebook, and I am also recording this so that we can upload it later to the city's YouTube page for those who can't be with us this evening. So obviously this isn't our normal in-person community update, but in light of all the circumstances currently, we've had to adjust and modify the way we do things. So to that point, I ask your patience with the technology as we move through tonight's presentations. But similar to our in-person updates, we will still hold all the questions until the end of the program once all the presentations are complete. So if you have any questions or a comment, you can, there's a chat icon at the bottom of your screen if you are on Zoom. If you're on Facebook, there are the chat options there. Type your thoughts in and I'll curate them at the end of the program so that our presenters can answer them at that time. If we don't get to your question tonight, we'll be sure to answer it in the coming days. And with that, let's get right to it. I'm going to find Dr. Dunlap and unmute him. And sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good evening. Sonia, if you remember, I will be here just during the time of this presentation. Any questions that you have, feel free to forward them to from you to me so that I can get a response back. All right. So that everyone knows, we're finishing up at the end of the year here, and from where we spoke back in the fall, I'm just going to kind of give an update with the state of the district. Back in the fall, the school district was $13.8 million in the rears in a deficit that we had to come out with a budget. I will tell you that with the school board, we built a comprehensive bridge plan around 4 goals. 1 goal for academics, 1 goal for facilities, 1 goal for finance, and 1 goal for school and climate. Where we are at the state of today is we are actually building and updating and strengthening our curriculum. We're going to be adding 9 support programs next year for the students that we have and hope to also bring other students back to the district. We're doing work with our curriculum to tie with STEM, and we've made some major improvements in our cyber program in light of COVID-19. Around the area of facilities, we put together a preventive maintenance plan. Our infrastructure has just been falling apart. We have now put a program together to monitor these buildings and prolong the life in them and extend that for the district. We're in the process of, we've redone all of our RFPs with our contracts. We've saved a considerable amount of money. And Sonia, in a few minutes, if you'll grant me the opportunity to share the screen, I will bring up a little bit of budget information to show folks. We are doing an RFQ, which is going to be going out soon. Prior to that coming out will be an RFP on energy savings for the district. We are replacing 5 roofs in the district that have been in need of repair for the last several years. We are also replacing our turf fields and our track. That wasn't something that we envisioned on doing. I just want to be clear about that. We are doing that for the safety of not only our students, but other student athletes. The actual shelf life of a turf field is about 10 years. And same thing with the track. We are coming on 20 years. We're continuing to roll out with our school equity plan. in light of the climate that we are all facing right now, we are emphasizing that as well. We closed that $13.8 million deficit. We came out with a balanced budget. Next Tuesday night on June 9th, our board will be voting on that budget. We've actually incurred a transportation study that has also helped us reduce that deficit, and we will be putting that program into effect for next year. And we did all of this with a 0% tax increase to the residents of Coatesville. I think that's the first time in a number of years that I've been told that that has happened. I'm going to show you on the screen here of where we are right now with the budget. So when you take a look at this, we just presented this the other night. I will go through this very quickly and get to the real important stuff, but these are just variables that we have had to contend with our budget. The effects on revenues continue to worsen with the economy right now. We actually did a little bit larger dip into our revenue budget to help with that further reduction of expenditures. And we've been continuing to find other additional revenues to supplant the loss of revenue locally and potentially from the state. COVID-19 has been one of the biggest variables left in the budget. Who knows what school is going to look like in September. We may need more buses to create social distancing. We may need to outfit our schools with plexiglass screening, kind of like what you see at the supermarkets and retail establishments that are currently open. These are big ifs. And not included in the current budget. And I need to say this strongly. Whatever the Coatesville School District does in the fall, they have to do it within their budget. For the last 5 years, the Coatesville School District has overspent their budget. It took a lot of work to get this budget where it is right now. We're currently budgeting a $500,000 increase in overall state funding, and most likely need to reduce that in the current next year as well. Special education is always a watch area for the district. 27% of 5,450 kids are identified as special ed. And also, there are a number of students that we have in other schools outside the district that are also identified. While the overall benefits costs appear to be stagnant or declining, with the exception of pension, this could turn quickly when people begin going back to the physician's office and in person again and starting elective surgeries once these things are back in play. This is just a list, as you can see, of major adjustments, both pluses and minuses, made to the budget for the 2020-2021 school year, as we had as of May 12th of this year. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll move to the next slide and kind of can review this with you. So really what we looked at here, our original reduction was 8.5 for salary and benefits. We reduced it by 6.8 million. Other financing that we did, we were looking at 6 million, but we're really revised that reduction, which includes our new debt of 7 million. What else did we do to reduce these costs? We furloughed 45 professional staff. We furloughed 10 administrators and 3 support staff. One of the RFPs that we did was with our maintenance contract provider, and we reduced that contract to an additional savings of $220,000. Total of 58 positions we let people go. Now, we did most of this through attrition. People that resigned or retired, we did not bring those positions back. I will tell you that since 2012, Coatesville Area School District has had a student to teacher ratio of 10-11 to 1, 10-11 students to 1 teacher. The state average is about 15 to 16 students per teacher. So while student enrollment declined on average of about 230 students a year, teacher enrollment actually increased. So we readjusted this through our staffing this year. This was a a fair savings for us. Next slide here is just really seeking. This tells what it's all about when you look at this. Most school districts will spend 60 to 70% of their budget on staffing. Coatesville is only spending 36% of its budget on staffing. Our debt is about 5%, $9 million. This is the big kicker for Coatesville. Coatesville spends more money sending kids to other schools than their own school district. 60 million of that is allocated to pay for charter schools, and the rest of that is to send students most of those students who are identified to approved private schools. We spend about 5% of our budget on transportation. Now, Coatesville still has a total enrollment of kids of about a little over 10,000 kids. Before, we used to bus all those kids to our own schools. Now we bus a large portion of those children, 3,600 of them, to other schools in Chester County. And so, of course, transportation costs increase when you increase that mileage. This is an area we've tried to make a desperate improvement in Coatesville, and it's on the infrastructure. And we were able to do that this year and get those programs going and start to take care of these buildings. We have about 4% of our budget is for operating costs. And as I said, when I spoke back in the fall, at that time, we had $302,000 in the fund balance. We have zero. There is no money in the savings. This is a shoestring budget that the school district is on going forward, but it's a budget that they can live by, and it's a budget that will give them a foundation to start to turn this around. These are just the revenue sources that you can see: local resources, state resources, and federal resources. We reduced that gap to zero, and that's the total budget this year. Now I'm going to jump to a couple slides here. So this just is a revenue, which you kind of seen in the previous slide, where it's coming from. This slide is interesting. This is the assessed value of property in the Coatesville area school district from 2009 to 2018. You can see it has remained relatively flat, where in other communities, these bars have gone up and down. You take a look at our millages remain the same as we've been talking about all year. And we didn't do this just because of COVID-19. We actually came out in September saying that we were going to do our best to do a 0% tax increase in the Coatesville area school district. Now I'm going to tell you, if people don't stick to the budget, this 0% tax increase is just going to be a one-time thing. But people need to really stick to the knitting, so to say, and operating within the budget. So as I said, we proposed a 0% tax increase. We found out that the state may not have enough money in their property tax relief fund, and which would provide the same support to Coatesville as it has in the past. And what does that mean? Last year and every year, all the way back to 2006, everybody in the Commonwealth received a credit on their property tax bill for proceeds from the state gaming industry. That amount has always been about $250 per resident taxpayer, regardless of the size of the property they own, whether it's a multi-million-dollar home or a $30,000 home. That $250 residential taxpayer bill has been paid for by the state. Now, we've been notified by the Department of Education that the original estimate that they gave us on May 1st may be overstated by approximately $300 million, and they'll need to reduce that relief funding. Well, how does this affect the taxpayers in Coatesville? Well, if the property tax relief credit is reduced from $250 to $125 per taxpayer, that means that even while the school board approves a budget with no tax increase, the actual out-of-pocket tax will go up for each taxpayer by $125. Now, we've been talking with our legislators about this and asking them for different alternatives that they have to keep taxpayers in mind and lower this impact. We've been speaking with them. It's interesting when you look at the data for the gaming institutions. Now, I'm not talking about track racing, that's all slowed down, but I'm talking about the in-house slot machines and online stuff that these gaming industries do. Since COVID-19, it's been up by 73%. And that's why it's important to have a conversation with legislators. And what are they doing with that money? They should be funding our tax relief in our schools, in my opinion, with that gaming institution money from the state. That's just one man's opinion. This chart depicts the present projected budget with the assumption that the board does not raise taxes over the next 5 years. As you can see, the reserves are negative at the end of the 2019-20 year, and the potential for the future is bleak. This is a hard road, and it's not one for the weak stomach. Until the charter school exodus is halted or reversed, the district has almost no way out of this financial budget. By 2024-25, if that trend continues, there will be more students in charter schools than there are in the Coatesville area school district. The best way to say it is we need to fix what's going on in our house to get people to have the confidence to come back to us. And that's why we created those goals with the board around academics, facilities, finance, and school climate. And this is the first time in 4 years that these types of support programs are coming back for our children in our schools. This is just the current millage rate, and the Act 1 increase allowable, and the actual increase in Coatesville's millage and the increase to Social Security wages. As you can see, the Coatesville millage increase has outpaced the Act 1 index for increases in Social Security payments over the last 10 years. This year's zero increase in millage is the first in the past at least 10 years. And unfortunately, as I said, unless we halt this charter school spending and put it in check, it's only going to be a 1-year reprieve for taxpayers. This last slide here that I'm going to show you, as we review the end of the budget next week, our board is going to act and adopt this budget into play for next year. And we are going to do any last minute recommendations for any final adjustments we need to do before that final budget is put out on June 9th. We did revise our parameters resolution to help keep it at a 0% increase. And as I said, the board is scheduled for June 9th adoption. So Sonia, that's kind of the state of the district where we are. It's a lot different from where we were back in the fall when I came into the district. I don't know, I know you want to do questions at the end. I just apologize. I have a grandson who came up here from North Carolina, and I promised I would be doing something with him tonight. So if there's any questions, I'll take a few. But
We'll let you get to your grandson as promised, and we will hold the questions for you. I'll email you any questions and connect you with the Inquirer tomorrow via email, so you can get back to it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the update. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
And now I'm very happy to welcome Chair of the Board of the Chester County Commissioners, Commissioner Marian Moskowitz.
Thank you, Sonia. Thanks for having me tonight. This is it's a great forum, and I get to hear a little bit more about the school district, which I haven't heard recently, so thank you. So I just bring you up to date on what the county has been doing regarding COVID. I'll start there first. And I will tell you that the strength of everything that we have done comes from an amazing health department, and we're so grateful and lucky to have them. I was in office 2 weeks when the health department came in and said, I think we have a problem coming down the pike. So it was a very interesting time, but they were on it and put together a plan. And so that has helped us move Chester County forward in protecting them from the virus as much as we can. Right now, as of today, we have 2,864 confirmed cases, and we have 247 deaths. And most of those deaths have been from long-term care facilities, which has been a real issue across the state, across the country. We were the first in the state to do antibody testing for our healthcare workers, our emergency responders, and their families. We are offering PCR tests around the county, and specifically in Coatesville on June 3rd, 4th, 9th, and 10th at the Gordon Early Learning Center. You need to have been exposed to COVID or are showing symptoms so that you could just go over there and get a test. As of today, there are 85 confirmed cases in Coatesville, and we'd like to see that number stay there and not grow. So we would encourage people that are sick or have been exposed to go get tested. That way we can control the spread. Recently, the commissioner started a Main Street Preservation Fund. We took $5 million from the CARES Act money and put it towards small businesses, those businesses that have revenues of $500,000 and less a year. And they can get up to $25,000. We've put that process in place, and the award should be announced next week, hopefully. We also started, which I'm really excited about, and I see some of the people that are on that committee, Restore Chester County. It's an awesome group of people on a task force. We're so lucky to have them. They're made up of the various chambers, the nonprofits, the tourism board, numerous people. And they have outreached to all types of businesses in our community. And the goal is to be able to come together with tools designed for each industry to be able to open safely and to be able to help them get the tools they need, the PPEs they need, the information they need. It's a great website. I encourage everybody to check it out. They have a great logo. It's restorechestercounty.org. Has a wealth of information there. It's great for small business, especially that may not know where to get the PPPs they need to open. And as we start to move into the yellow phase, that becomes more and more important. Moving to the yellow, we go into yellow on June 4th, so really Friday. And what that means is we continue to telework whenever we can. Child care facilities will start to open with strict guidelines. They're not going to be able to have as many children as they've had, but they are going to start opening. Large gatherings of no more than 25 people, but you must utilize your masks and you have to social distance. We have to really contain this. We don't want a spread. Retail is allowed by curbside delivery, and restaurants and bars are allowed to open in, if you can do outside seating, they're allowing that. There are strict guidelines and you have to follow those. But it is the beginning of an opening. And I think we're all ready for it. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get out and get some air and see some people. But we have to be careful, and please wear your masks. Coatesville is a really special community. And when I asked Sonia, which topics she wanted me to cover, one of the more interesting things I thought she wanted was, how vital is Coatesville to the Chester County community? And I really started to think about that. And what I concluded is that, to make it short, is that we don't have a strong county unless Coatesville is strong. It is our city. It is it's where the growth can be. We have a lot coming in, and it's exciting to watch it all happen now. We have to work on things like good health care and jobs and a living wage and home ownership and small businesses growing and new businesses coming, but it's all starting to happen, and it's exciting to watch. So when Coatesville is strong, our whole county is strong. We need to work on filling these vacancies in the downtown, which is difficult with COVID, but 41% of the vacant storefronts, we need to fill those. And the remaining 52, we need to make sure that when they open, they're strong. They have the help they need. And you have such a great community, and I know that everybody's going to be chipping in, making sure that they survive and they are stronger. It's an interesting time, and the world seems dim and bleak. I hear all these stories about Coatesville, all these developers wanting to come in and things happening. So as my friend Fonz always said, Coatesville is rising, and it's really an interesting time with all the doom and gloom. We have to be thankful that things are happening. I want you to make sure that you know about our Health and Human Services. Go on chesco.org. We have a wealth of information. If it will tell you where you can get food, where you can get healthcare, where you can mental health situation, everything is there. And, you know, it's a really difficult time for the county as a whole. And there are some push and pulls, and we're going to get through it. We seem to have one crisis after another. But at the end of the day, the sun will come out, and I think we'll all be a lot stronger for it. I appreciate the work that the community is doing in Coatesville, and it's all starting to come together, and I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to be a part of it, and help in any way I can. So that's my update.
Thank you, Commissioner. We really appreciate you taking the time out, especially today on Election Day. I know how busy you are.
Well, my phones keep ringing, so I have to.
We'll let you answer them. We very much appreciate the support that the commissioners have given, that Department of Community and Development has given to the Second Century Alliance and the whole Coatesville community. So thank you. We appreciate that partnership.
We're looking forward to watching it grow and doing it together. So thank you.
So next we're going to hear from Alyssa Griffith. She's the president of the board of directors of the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce. Alyssa.
Hi, thank you, Sunny, and hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes here to let you know what's going on. I myself am a small business owner, and one of the focuses of the chamber has been, of course, getting the county back to work and up and running. We sent a letter to the governor and his administration, of course, urging him to move forward and to keep this June 5th date moving to yellow on track. So we're happy that that's happening. We feel that our business owners and the community is responsible and will follow the guidelines and take into account everything that we need to do to stay safe. I'm very proud of many of our members and just other businesses in the community and the different creative ways they've already come up with to keep everyone safe. And I know moving forward that they're going to continue that, and that, you know, we'll be moving into the green phase soon. We also, you know, Commissioner Moskowitz mentioned the Restore website. So we've been promoting that on our website with information. Our website, westernchestercounty.com, has lots of information, resources, and anyone is welcome and able to go onto that website. So I encourage everyone to please take advantage of all the resources that we have to offer on the website. We started a new form of media with the help of Justin Chen and Valley Creek Productions. We're doing a weekly Chester County Checks In video, and it features members and other non-members also in the community with either updates on what's going on, different nonprofits and community organizations, just telling everyone what they're doing during this time. So it's a kind of a fun, happy, you know, form of communication that you can find either on our website. We have it posted on Facebook. It's on YouTube, the Instagram. It goes out on emails. And so we have another one. It's every Wednesday at 11:30. So again, we have that out there. The next thing I would just like to mention, on Friday, June the 19th at 10 a.m., we'll be having our corporate citizen event And this is an event we do each year that recognizes a community partner and how their business supports the local community. So this year, we're recognizing Life Transforming Ministries and Bill Shaw, who's the executive director. They do lots of great work in the Coatesville area. In 2007, they were responsible for bringing the Harcum College to the Greystone Mansion that offers associate degrees. They work with United Way, and they've also partnered with, through the support of Vanguard, to offer the Volunteer Tax Assistance Program that started in 2004. And that is a way to have free tax preparation done for the community. So this is a free event. It's going to be a virtual event. Anyone that would like to make a donation, all the proceeds will go to Life Transforming Ministries. And finally, just to mention, we have deferred all our membership dues for a few months, for our members so that they can concentrate on their businesses and, keeping themselves, taking care of what they need to take care of during this time. So that's about all I have. I just encourage everyone to please go onto our website, chestercounty.com, look at our member directory, and if you can, support the local businesses in this area. So thank you for your time and have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Alyssa. Appreciate that. And if you are a small business or any business in the Coatesville area and you're not a member of the chamber, I would strongly suggest it. They are a huge support for the region. So now we're going to move to Kimberly Day Hardy of the Brandywine Health Foundation. And there we are.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sunny, and good evening to everyone. So great to see so many familiar faces and names. I just want to give you a few tidbits, so I won't be before you long. I know it's been a long day, but it is great to, have this type of connection, and certainly great that the folks of the city of Coatesville and that everyone is positively anticipating what's before us. And I know, we need more of that. So our team at the Brandywine Health Foundation, under the leadership of Vanessa Briggs, along with Dana Hyman, that many of you know, and the rest of our support staff, have been working very hard behind the scenes with the relief funds that we have released over the last 12 weeks. We started out with our official healthcare and economic relief fund that was, again, immediately released to the community. That was phase one of our funding. We're now actively in phase two, which we deem the recovery phase. And we're still actively in that place. So we haven't released, we're actively still working with organizations and reviewing applications. And so most of the updates around the release of funding has been listed on our website. So I won't spend a lot of time talking about that, but we're really committed to making sure that we're positioned to be of service to our grant partners, and most importantly, to be of service to the folks in the greater Coatesville area. So it's been busy, as it has been for many of you, but it is our version, our service to be on the front line in that way, to really, again, stay connected and remain connected to the needs of greater Coatesville. So we are forging forward in that direction. In addition, we've been meeting behind the scenes, and I say behind the scenes, with our partners from the city of Coatesville, from our other partner with Natural Lands, and working very closely with our Greening Coatesville initiative. I know countywide, as parks have opened, folks have lots of questions, I'm sure, about the parks that are within not only the city of Coatesville, but the surrounding municipalities as well. And so we, again, have been working with City of Coatesville, Natural Lands, and discussing the next steps, if you will. Now, while we don't have an official open date for the park, the construction and some of the updates that has continued to be planned, we have been talking about that. And so for the moment, as we kind of work through some of the construction plans, for lack of better phrases, we do, or we have considered how we would break down the phases, if you will, of construction, to think about what's been working the best in terms of scheduling, and what the remaining part of the year looks like. And so I don't have a lot to share there because we're still, again, working with the details. But what you will see in the coming months is specifically at Palmer Park will be the construction of the pavilion, which was planned before COVID. But now we will continue with the plans for that. There are some structural things happening in the next phases. So again, our partners that work with the construction teams will lay out a plan, and there'll be more to share forthcoming. But for now, we've been actively looking at how to keep things moving, how to keep things being mindful that as parks open and you see construction trucks and you see movement, that we want to, keep it as safe as possible for families, for children who will use the parks. And so more details will come on that. The other park, which is Ash Park, that we've again been working with our partners from Natural Lands. Prior to COVID, there was a group of community members who were meeting around, again, plans for the park, just a community voice project, and where the members were gathering together to talk about what the next phases of that park would be like. And in the coming weeks, they will begin to convene again to so to speak, to pick up the process or pick up where they left off. So again, I don't have as many details to share with that because I want to be mindful, as more information is released. But we, are forging forward, continuing to engage, reopening conversation and communication so that we can just remain forward thinking and keep plans moving forward is what I would say. And so we're excited with the onset of the warm weather, and we know how important the parks in the area are to our residents. They're equally important, to all of us who have been working together. So we remain, in the trenches, for lack of a better phrase, to just really continue the work moving forward. And again, in the coming weeks, you'll hear more about the specific updates. In terms of questions, Sunny, if anyone has any, of course, to the end, I'm happy, to respond to those, and we'll keep updates coming on our website.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Kimberly. I'll go back to the chat and curate that at the very end, and we'll see if there are any questions in there, but I'll let you know. All right. Next up, James Logan, Assistant City Manager.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, good. Thanks, Sunny. Thanks for putting this together, and greetings to everyone out there. I'm a little torn to where I would like to start tonight, and part of the reason why I'm torn is because of what's been going on right now. George Floyd, his murder. We have a lot of protesters. You all have seen everything happening on television and in the streets in our neighboring communities. And it's a really sad turn of events, what's going on right now. Like all cities across this country, demonstrations and protests have been happening. And soon it will happen here in the city of Coatesville. You may have heard about some of the rumors that are going around about a large group of protesters and demonstrators coming to Coatesville on Thursday. Well, it is not a rumor mill. It is true. We will have demonstrators coming into the city Thursday morning at 11:30 is the plan. They plan to begin their walk from Double D Diner to City Hall or to the police department. And we welcome positive and uplifting demonstrations for the real reasons, for the right reasons. We are looking forward to having people peacefully demonstrate. We feel that there can be some positive exchanges, and we just want the community to be aware of it. A number of the individuals that are planning to come here are not from this community. So it's important that we who represent this community should be in attendance if you can. And we just want to make this a beautiful day if we can. We don't have much to tear down out here, so I'm trying to stay positive and not even think about some of the negative things I've been seeing on the television and in other communities. I believe, I'm an optimist, and I believe that we can have a peaceful demonstration and honor this man in the right way. So, so with that, I'm going to go on and give you a quick update. And Sunny, if you would like to allow me to share, I can do that.
You should be able to, James.
All right, thank you. Okay, can everyone see that there? Well, first off, I want to thank Commissioner Makowitz, who was just on. She talked about, you know, a little bit of the update, what's going on here in Coatesville. I'm sorry that my light just went off. I'm not moving enough. That's too funny. Give me 1 second, Sonny.
Those motion sensor lights in City Hall.
Yeah, this is why you don't get these in your office. Sorry about that, folks. So I just want to give a quick update. First, I want to just thank a couple of thank yous. First, I want to thank the graduating class of 2020 here in Coatesville. Congratulations to all of you. I know most of you aren't listening, but anyway, shout out to the class of 2020. And I also want to thank all of the people who are on the front line throughout the communities, but more importantly here in Coatesville, folks that are working on our grocery stores, restaurants, hotels, the cyber teachers that are coming on board pretty quick, the fitness instructors. You guys, fitness instructors, you're killing me. And thanks to all of those individuals, again, who are considered essential employees. We do appreciate you, and we want you to stay healthy and continue to fight. So, as we all know, the governor has announced that we're going to be shifting to yellow pretty quickly this Friday, we hope. And just as a reminder, I'm just going to read a couple of bullets on what the yellow phase is. You know, yellow phase means that we can come together a little bit more, you know, but if you can work from home, please continue to do so. Businesses with in-person operations still must follow the business and building safety orders. Child care organizations or companies may open complying with guidance. And of course, schools are going to remain closed. So for the most part, you know, the city of Coatesville has been preparing to open. I always tell people to support our local businesses with curbside service if you can. Certainly continue that. We're looking forward to City Hall opening. We should be opening, I would say, in the next 2 weeks. And we'll have, you know, different lobby hours and things like that. But we're very excited to be opening and can't wait to get back to some of our commissions meeting. The weather permitting, we might be even, we will even meet outside, on the apron from time to time. So we're pretty excited about that. Other than that, it was mentioned this evening about city curfew and testing. So city curfew is still going to be in place to 8 p.m. And one of the reasons why we want to keep it in place, especially now, is a lot of other cities and municipalities are pretty much keeping their curfews in place. Some have just established a curfew for 8 o'clock. We have one, and I think we're going to keep ours in place for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. Testing site is at Gordon Elementary. As you can see here, these are the dates that you can go in and get tested. Please do so. If you need information or more information, you can go to our website and pick up that information on the times, the criteria for testing. The times are here, 10:30 to 2:30. Over the last 3 days, we have seen about 120 people but those numbers are very, very low. We want to get more people out there to get tested. In the event that the numbers remain low, we will probably go to 1 day a week with expanded hours. Folks, if you need to get tested, we have the facility. Please go and get your test. The data board is reporting 85 cases, as mentioned earlier. And to me, it kind of proves that we are the social distancing is working. Folks wearing their mask and washing their hands, all of these do contribute to the numbers kind of, flatlining there. Other than that, we're just trying to do our best to keep our young people safe, keep our seniors safe, keep the community safe. We have a couple of things going on, with the pandemic and now with protesters and the economy. I see that guy from the Chester County Chamber of Business and Industry. He's here tonight. Guy, great job that you're doing, helping the small businesses throughout the county. We appreciate you. And we want to see you here in Coatesville sometime too. Our next city council meeting is June 8th at 7:30, which will be recorded on Zoom and Facebook. And we look forward to seeing you all. That's all I have for tonight. And thank you again, Sunny.
Thank you, James. Thanks for all the work you're doing at City Hall and keeping things running over there. I am going to share my screen. Oops, hold on. I asked for patience. Share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, so I want to say thank you to all of our presenters this evening, and I will get to any questions that were in the chat in just a minute. So before I do that, I want to take an opportunity to just update you on some of the things that we've been working on here at Second Century Alliance. So some of you might already be familiar with our 5-point revitalization plan for the city, which you can find on our website. But for now, those 5 points are downtown revitalization, investment and commercial development, residential neighborhood strengthening, quality of life improvement, and communications and marketing. You can find more detail on each one of those points on our website, but for now I want to talk about that first one, downtown revitalization. Both the commissioner and James mentioned it. This pandemic is impacting everybody, but our small independently owned businesses are really being hit hard. So we at Second Century Alliance are doubling down on our efforts around that first point, the commercial corridor. Last year, we introduced a facade improvement grant program, and we're pleased to say that 3 property owners are taking advantage of it. I'm working closely with them as they draft designs, get contractor estimates, and make exciting improvements to their storefronts. But we had this grant capital, and while we could have awarded a few more facade grants, because of COVID-19, we decided to take that money and pivot to what we are hearing from our merchants is more important to them right now. We surveyed our downtown businesses, and we learned that what they really need now is sustainability funding. So we went to work and we connected them with grant opportunities at the federal, state, and county level. And just a quick thank you again to Commissioner Moskowitz, the county, the Chester County Economic Development Council for implementing that Main Street Preservation Grant, because I think some of our businesses will take advantage of that. And then in some cases, we actually help the businesses through the application process. And then we took what was left in our facade grant fund and we redirected it into our own little grant program for downtown businesses to purchase the physical amenities that they'll need as they reopen. So tonight, I'm happy to announce the Second Century Alliance Downtown Business COVID-19 Response Grant. Downtown businesses can apply for up to $1,000 to purchase things like face masks, sneeze guards, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies or services, whatever they need to keep their employees and their customers safe as they reopen their businesses. And we have a downtown business that can provide some of these items too, so it's a win-win. We're working with Surefire Graphics, a downtown Coatesville business in Midway Arts, to help other downtown businesses access the products that they'll need. So we're happy to be able to make those connections as well. I'm also introducing tonight a grand reopening ribbon cutting program. We'll be scheduling virtual ribbon cuttings with all of our downtown businesses as they reopen, or even if they've been open during the pandemic. We want to celebrate with a virtual event that will act as almost a commercial of sorts, giving each of the merchants a way to connect with and market to a broader audience. So if you're not our friend on Facebook yet, like us over there. Stay tuned as we cut ribbons for each one of our downtown businesses, one at a time. And please make an effort to patronize these businesses, because as you know, they need us now more than ever. So at Second Century Alliance, we're nimble enough to adapt and adjust to the community's precise needs. And we're excited to be creating this tailored assistance approach to each one of our more than 50 downtown businesses, helping them overcome the challenges of the pandemic and to promote that downtown Coatesville is open for business. So that wraps up our presentations. And now I want to take a look and see if we've got some chat here. So someone, and I don't have a name here, says that this was an exceptional presentation by Dr. Dunlap. There's a question for Dr. Dunlap. For comparison, what are the percentages for neighboring districts and charter schools? I'm going to forward that. I have Barry here. Barry, if you could send me your email in the chat, I will make sure that Dr. Dunlap gets that answer to you. Guy Shiraki says, well done, James. And the Dantzler family has a question for James. Agree Thursday will be peaceful, but there are agitators who don't represent the marches and cause destruction. What provisions are being made to ensure that businesses are protected to the best of our ability? Are you encouraging business board up the storefronts? James, can you answer that for us?
Yes, very good question. And the answer is yes. We've reached out to a number of businesses throughout the downtown district. Our police chief has gone out with some of the officers. We've informed them of the actual demonstration. And we've made the recommendation, if they feel so inclined to board up, you know, we do encourage it. But it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. You know, you tell merchants to board up, and sometimes that can send a mixed signal to protesters, thinking that, well, if you're going to board it up, then that means we're going to go ahead and tear it down. So we're really leaving it up to the individual business owners, but we did go out and share with them that, you know, it is our recommendation to keep your buildings as safe as you can. We feel that because of what we've been kind of witnessing in other communities, our law enforcement under the leadership of Chief Lawford, he's done an amazing job coordinating and communicating with other municipalities and townships. Again, we want this to be peaceful. We're not going to show any show of force in a intimidating or you know, kind of a united front way. You know, people do have the freedom and the right to speak and to protest and to demonstrate, and certainly that's what we're going to welcome them to do. We want it to be peaceful. We want it to be lawful, and we will be doing everything that we can to keep it that way. Sometimes you have bad actors, and that's unfortunate, and we just hope that we don't have any coming to our city on Thursday. Now they do also, just a kind of additional note, the group is organized to go to other communities, Westchester, Phoenixville. I understand that they're going to be in Euclid or Lineville, as well as South Coatesville. So this is an organized group, and you know, they're going out and exercising their right. And I think it's important for us to ensure that they're doing it in a very positive way, and not to, as I said earlier, not to dishonor what truly has happened and what this is all about.
Thanks, James. That wraps up the questions in the chat. I appreciate everybody's attention. As I said at the beginning, we try to host these things every few weeks just to keep everybody updated. So stay tuned for our next program. And as I mentioned before, please, as our downtown businesses reopen, patronize them as best you can. Drive up, pick up, restaurant, takeout, whatever you can do to support these downtown businesses. I heard a staggering statistic that 75% of our small, independent, locally owned businesses will not survive this. So let's make sure that we don't experience that in downtown Coatesville. Somebody on the program said, I had said we have 53 businesses downtown. And I'm a big believer that attraction begins with retention. And so we need to make sure that our downtown businesses that are there are strong, healthy, and growing in order to be able to attract more businesses to fill those vacant spaces. So I'm counting on our entire community to patronize these downtown businesses in Coatesville. And with that, I'll leave you all to your evenings. Thank you again so much to our presenters tonight, and thank you all for your interest. Have a good night.